Have you ever had your heart broken? If so, please describe. I have had my heart broken. How do you balance school, your work, your relationship? Do you think you and Ben will get married? What's the worst thing about being in a relationship? I think the worst thing. Any advice on body confidence? Thoughts on birth control? Alright, hi and welcome back. Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Tati Kapaya. I don't normally make content like this. I'm actually very nervous for this, so please, just bear with. I needed a video that was gonna be a bit easier to edit because I've got deadlines and the urge is hard. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Who the hell do I think I am? I've also got this little microphone. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Anyway, but yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna jump straight into the questions because there's a lot to get through. So I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram and there's a lot of just like topics. I thought they were gonna be really, really personal. And whilst they are, there's a lot of just like nice, girl talk kind of vibe conversations to be had, which I'm really looking forward to. If you want to follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description below. It's just at Tati Kapaya. But yeah, I really just want a relaxed environment, get a cup of tea. Let's just start with, I don't know how to do this. Okay, thoughts on personal stability before getting into a relationship. Love you. Love you too. It's quite hard to say, yes, you need to be 100% stable before you get into a relationship, but everyone's different, every relationship is different, and what is stable? What I do think is important is to recognize the qualities in yourself that you want to improve on, what you're happy with, what you're looking for in a relationship, what qualities you want in a partner, that sort of stuff, what your love languages are. I think stuff like that is important to know. I think each scenario is different. You assess, obviously, if you're a really toxic person, I don't think it's fair for you to be going into a relationship. If you're not emotionally open, you shouldn't be going into a relationship. I think there's certain qualities that you can see, whether it's in another person or in yourself, that will help you decide whether a relationship is good for you. Because if you're not in touch with your emotions, if you don't want to open up to someone, if you don't want to be vulnerable and all of that stuff, I think it might be a bit hard to progress into a long-term relationship, personally. Okay, how do you know you're ready to take your relationship to the next level? I'm assuming this isn't talking about my relationship. I think it's just talking about generally, and I guess you just know. And I'm the type of person who's very really romanticizes life, but the reality of life is having love in a relationship is not the only thing that's important. Whilst it is the most important thing, there are other things that you need to take into account. Let's say the next step for a couple is moving in together. If you don't have the money to move in together, that's not gonna work. The factor of, are we ready to further this commitment? And then there's also other factors that are just life, What's your mental health saying? What's your financial situation saying? What is your, there's a lot of factors. I think that's another one that you just have to assess within a certain relationship. Have a plan, have a goal for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, where you want yourself to be individually, your relationship to be together, that sort of thing, because without a plan, where are you going? Do you get tired of constantly having to put out content? I don't know how you do it. Honestly, no. I really enjoy making YouTube videos. On Instagram, sometimes it can be a bit tiring, but YouTube is my place. I love YouTube. YouTube is very cathartic for me. I love making content. I love talking to you guys. I love building this community and relationship we have, because it genuinely does feel like that. But Instagram is a very different place. I love fashion content, so I love posting pictures, making reels, that sort of thing, but I'm very active, and sometimes it's I don't even want my phone to make a noise. I don't even want to look at my phone after being on Instagram. But YouTube is my place. I love YouTube. I love you guys. What are things that cheer you up when you feel down? Listening to music is the number one thing, or watching a good show. Do you know what I mean? Going on a walk. If I'm feeling stressed, if I'm feeling down, just go on a walk, headphones in. I'll come back feeling a lot clearer in the head, which is great. Okay, I've got a couple questions about heartbreak. Have you ever experienced heartbreak? Have you ever had your heart broken? If so, please describe. I have had my heart broken, oh my gosh. There were times when I thought I was heartbroken when I wasn't really heartbroken, and then I experienced real heartbreak and I was like, oh. 10 out of 10, do not recommend. It was one of those things where I was the one who was like, this isn't working, but it still really got to me, just because, you know, when deep down you just know something's not working, but you're doing all you can to make it work and you're trying, but the other person just isn't reciprocating that energy. And it's like, why am I putting in all this effort to receive nothing back? So it ended and I was just distraught. Looking back, it's like, why? But no, I'm not gonna invalidate my feelings, because I was really going through it. Like, didn't eat, didn't sleep. It was not fun, and I really hope I don't go through that again. But I do think it's something that everyone has to experience at some point, you know, in order to grow, to learn what it is you want out of a relationship, what you don't want. I learned a lot of that in the past. And the only way to learn that is either through experience or through watching other people's mistakes. And I'd urge you to try just, you know, learn from other people's mistakes as much as you can. But, you know, some things you have to learn for yourself, because everyone's different. Is it wrong to have not been in a relationship before? I'm 19. Any advice for single girls? No! Oh my gosh, this actually does break my heart that you even, like, this thought even crossed your mind, because it's so not wrong. Where are you rushing to? There's no rush. There's absolutely no rush. And if you're single, enjoy it, because once you're in a relationship, you're in. And if it all goes to plan, you're not gonna be single again. Work on yourself. I know people say it so much, but that goes for whether you're in a relationship or single. But when you're single, all the time you have, dedicate it to yourself. You know, there's something so beautiful about self-love. If you love yourself so unapologetically, like, why am I so happy? So yeah, there's nothing wrong with not being in a relationship. If you're 19, if you're 20, if you're 30, if you're 40, if you've never been in a relationship before, there's nothing wrong with that. And whoever made you feel like there's something wrong with that, I really want to be having words. How do you balance school, your work, your relationship, having you time? How do you normally deal with being overloaded from work or just stress from uni? How do you manage to stick to your schedules per day? Do you motivate yourself in some way? These sort of questions. So I plan everything, you know, down to a T. Timetables, schedules, to-do lists, everything. You've got uni work, and then obviously I freelance work as well. And I'm doing quite a few projects at the moment. I'm a content producer, freelance. So that's like running a social media account, organizing all of that stuff. A lot of presenting, voiceover, freelance work, and then also editing. I wake up at 6, I start winding down by 9, and I'll usually start work for the day by 8 a.m. latest. I have a nice like 2-hour morning routine. So yeah, from 8 to 9 with obviously some breaks in between. That's how I go about my day. In terms of my relationship, we spend like time together like once or twice a week. We'll have a date night sort of vibe. I'll go watch my boyfriend play football. He plays football on the weekends, so I have like time for that. And then the weekend is when I have my like chill time, where I take at least one day. Well, that's a lie. I take at least half a day where I just don't do anything. And if it's near the time of my period, I will take the whole weekend off. So as I said, I'm a content producer, which involves me having to produce a lot of content, schedule, upload on various like social media platforms on a daily basis. An app that really helps with that is Later. I want to thank Later for sponsoring this portion of the video. It allows you to schedule out your content in a way which isn't just like planning your feed, if that makes sense. So you can actually say Monday at this time, this is the post, these are the hashtags you're going to use, these are the captions, and you schedule it out like that. So it just enables you to have a proper social media strategy rather than you're just posting content whenever. If you run a small business, if you work for a brand where you run their social media, if you own a brand, if you are your own brand, if you're looking to take your social media or your content to the next level, but you're also doing loads of other things and you need to, you know, organize your time. Let's say you're using Instagram, you can just set yourself up for more success on Instagram because you're more organized. Organization is key. So it's got, you know, visual scheduling, media management, marketing, analytics, everything. It's got all of that. So if you want, you can check out Later in the description below. They do have different plans and you can use my code Tati21 for a month free of the growth plan if you want. What is your pet peeve in a guy/girl? Lack of drive, lack of ambition, lack of motivation. I'm very, very driven and I have incredibly big goals. So I just need someone to match the energy. A lot of people can talk a good game and say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna achieve this, I'm gonna achieve this. But it's like, at the end of the day, if you're not putting in the work, there is no point. So my biggest pet peeve is when people are all talk and no action. Okay, tips for having a good relationship with your boyfriend. Communication, and then also learn each other's love languages. I'd even say learning each other's love languages may be slightly more important than communication, but they go hand in hand. Do you know what I mean? In order to learn, you have to communicate. So hand in hand, but love languages for sure. If you don't know what love languages are, I spoke about it in my Valentine's Day video. Because you can be loving someone, no, I'm not gonna talk, you can be loving someone with all your might, but they might not feel loved by you because you're not loving them in their love language. But anyway, how do I start talking to this guy and how do I get him to like me? If he hasn't already seen your amazingness, like on to the next, do you know what I mean? There are so many guys, you know, just pop up, send a little message, you say, hey, what's up? I don't know. If you start talking, you get to know each other and it feels like you're the one putting all the effort, you're having to chase him, you're having to do all of this. Honestly, on to the next. He does not see your worth and he doesn't deserve you. Simple as. I promise you, there will be someone better. Do you think you and Ben will get married? I hope so. I really hope so. That would be the goal. What's the worst thing about being in a relationship? I think the worst thing, see, the thing is, being single, being in a relationship, everything has its pros and cons. I'm a very independent person. I think that's just because of the way I was brought up and like I don't actually need anyone. But when you're in a relationship, it's no longer just you by yourself. Everything you do, you know, especially as your relationship matures and you're into like adulthood, everything you do does have an effect on the other person. So it's no longer just you thinking about yourself. You can't really be selfish. Big decisions have to be made together in a sense if you want to make the relationship work. So whether you see that as a pro or a con, I guess that tells you whether you're ready for a relationship or not. If you love the person that much and you really want to make it work, you make it work. Do you know what I mean? You just do that because you want to. You know, it doesn't feel like a chore. But relationship deal breakers, I'd just say cheating, whether that's physically or emotionally, because I feel like people only think of cheating as like you sleep with someone else or you kiss someone else or you do that. But I think cheating emotionally is a thing too. Simple things like not putting in effort, because that's what causes people to grow apart. If I'm the one carrying the relationship, that's a no from me. It needs to be a joint effort. I never used to understand why people broke up after like 3 years, 4 years. It's like, you've been together for a long time. Why are you breaking up? But I do understand now, because things change, people get comfortable and stop putting in the effort, and people go through different journeys and you want different things, and you know, one person might be working super hard and one person is not, and then your life just doesn't match up. How is someone going to be doing this and the other person is just staying here? It needs to be a joint thing where you're both pushing each other, you're both lifting each other up, you're both growing as people. I just trailed off on a really long tangent, but those are my relationship deal breakers. Your take on interracial relationships and age. I'm 21, I'll be 22 next month. Interracial relationships, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm in an interracial relationship. I feel like just love whoever, regardless of gender, sexuality, just whatever it is. I'm all for it, you know? Thoughts on birth control. I personally have never tried any birth control, and I don't plan on ever using any birth control, mainly because I don't want to put hormones into my body. I'm scared of messing up my body's natural cycle. I like the fact that I have my period every month, it's regular, and I don't want to mess that up. But yeah, I don't really need to take birth control, so I just wouldn't really, I'm not down. But obviously it's a great thing to have. I feel like men should have some sort of birth control, because women really go through it. And I just don't think it's fair. But yeah, obviously take birth control if you need to take birth control and you're comfortable taking it. So yeah. Any advice on body confidence? I gained weight over lockdown and want to be able to love myself again. Body confidence is one of those areas that is so tricky, because as women, our bodies change all the time. It's not even a thing where, well, I can't speak for everyone, but my body personally changes all the time. And I also gained weight over lockdown. But what I've learned is that it's just so beautiful what our bodies can do and what they do for us on a daily basis. There's just so much beauty in the human body, and I just try to focus on that instead of how it necessarily looks on a day-to-day basis. One thing I do, I never weigh myself. It gives me such bad vibes. But obviously I can physically see that I've gained weight. Your weight is going to fluctuate all the time. How your body looks will fluctuate based on the time of the day, how much water retention you have, where you are in your cycle, that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't focus too much on the aesthetic of your body and more just how you feel on the inside. Do you feel like your body is operating at its best? If not, you know, maybe look into changing your diet. Eat things that make you feel good, not necessarily to lose weight or to, you know, diet and all of this stuff, just stuff that makes you feel good. And that's what I'd say. It's really, really a journey, and you'll go through phases where you really love your body, where you hate it, and I'm the same, so I don't really have an answer for that, but just know that everyone goes through it, and your body is beautiful regardless of how it looks. Okay, do you have flatmates? Are you alone? And someone said, I've always wondered how you handle living alone. Do you ever get scared or lonely? When I'm in university, I actually don't live alone. I have 2 other flatmates, but when I'm at home, I do live alone. But honestly, I love it. If I could live alone all the time, I would. I'm one of those people who needs time to recharge after having spent time with people. I just need my space to not interact with a soul, because it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. I love my own space. And you know all those memes where it's like, cooking is only fun when you're in the kitchen alone and like no one's in there with you talking to you? That is my vibe. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? In 10 years, I'll be 31. I'll be living my best life. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, if God lets me, maybe a little baby or a little family, but we'll see. I don't like saying my like long-term plans. I just like to let the achievements speak for itself. Someone said, is it really necessary to wear panties? I hate that word. Wear underwear around the house, because I don't. Honestly, no. Like, I hate underwear. I only wear underwear if I'm leaving the house. I don't know if that's weird, if that's TMI, but yeah. Who are the women that you really say impacted your life, and what keeps you going? My mum. My mum is the most driven, hard-working woman I know, and she really did instill that in me. She's always motivating, always lets me know that I can achieve whatever it is I want to achieve. If I go to her with the wildest of dreams, with like, I want to do this, or I want to achieve this, she's like, yeah, you can do it. She's taught me from a very, very young age that you can achieve anything as long as you put all your effort and hard work into it. You know, the world doesn't owe you anything. It's not going to give you anything unless you go out and work for it. What's it like traveling on the African continent? Like, tips, recommendations, advice, your experience. It's great, honestly. I feel like people are missing out. I haven't been to that many places in Africa. I've been to Kenya, Zambia, Tanzania, but it's great. I love Kenya, I love Zambia. I haven't been to Zambia in a long time, but Kenya, I'm there a lot. I plan on going back to both at some point this year, hopefully, if not next year. Advice would just be to plan ahead, plan what it is you want to do, because there's a lot to do. For example, if you go to Kenya and you're only going for a week, I don't think it's wise to try do a safari as well as, you know, go to the beach. I can't speak for the whole of Africa because, you know, there's many countries, but from the places I've been, it's beautiful. Alright, those are all the questions I'm going to answer today. Thank you so much for asking questions. I've actually had such a good time. It will be back to vlogging next week, but let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you like this and if you want more, you know, girl talk kind of vibe videos as well. Obviously, I didn't answer all the questions, so I could always do this again, or maybe just do it in a vlog one time. So let me know. If I didn't answer the question, it's either because I will address it in the future or because I've already addressed it in one of my previous Q&A videos. So I'll link everything down below. As I said, check out later. Link will be in the description, so feel free to, you know, use my code Tati21 for a month off. But yeah, thanks again for watching. All my social media links will be in the description below. Feel free to follow me. I'm gonna go now, but I'll see you next time. So bye.